All right, welcome everyone. We are so excited to have you here for the 25th Annual Awards for Excellence in Environmental Education. Let's give that a round of applause. If I haven't met you yet, my name is Katie Maven, and I am the Executive Director at the Colorado Alliance for Environmental Education. And I will be joined by our Board President, Chris Obie, here at the front of the stage. He will be helping hand out those awards to folks. If you don't know CAE, there we go. We support the many types of educators who teach concepts that we all need to understand. Things like how our natural systems work, how to interact responsibly with the environment, and how to take care of our natural resources for future generations. We are proud to be the largest network of environmental educators in Colorado, and together our members serve over 800,000 learners. If anything, the pandemic has illuminated the fact that environmental education is a superpower. It's a superpower for learning, for health and wellness, and for taking care of the people and the places that we care about. And today we get to celebrate the educators and the organizations who are making that work happen. We also want to take a moment to welcome all those of us who are joining us online. And so if you are online, we're going to invite you to turn on your camera for a moment so that you can wave at the folks in the room. And you're getting lots of waves back. You will be muted throughout the program, but we invite you to turn on your camera and use the chat if you have any questions or needs, and especially use the chat to comment and celebrate our award recipients. Doing a hybrid event is a little bit of an experiment for us, so we will apologize in advance for any technical difficulties, but hopefully everything goes smoothly. We are so glad that you are all here together and in person and virtually. We want to take a moment and acknowledge that we are gathering to celebrate here on the stolen lands of the Cheyenne, Arapaho, and Ute peoples, who stewarded this land for generations. Historically and today, white communities are often centered in environmental education, and the contributions of Black, Indigenous, and people of color have often been excluded from our narratives. We have a responsibility to continue working to change this and the systems that allow injustice and inequity to exist. We are so lucky to have such a rich, vibrant EE community, and there are so many people we need to thank for making this event possible today. First, we want to acknowledge our sponsors, Marathon, and the City of Boulder Open Space and Mountain Parks for making this event possible. We also want to thank our incredible awards committee, and especially our co-chairs, Mary McCormick and Bevan Carruthers, for all their work in reviewing and selecting these awards and planning the event. We could not do this without you. And finally, we really want to thank our team at CAE and the CAE Board of Directors for all of their passion and dedication to environmental education here in Colorado. Let's give all of these folks a huge round of applause. And now we would love to kick off the celebration with our President's Award for Excellence in Environmental Education.
ensuring that all Coloradans can have the opportunity to have outdoor and environmental learning experiences every day is going to require changing systems. And those are our educational systems, those are our funding systems, those are our conservation and sustainability systems.
The President's Award is selected by CAE's Board of Directors to honor exceptional leadership for environmental preservation, sustainability, and education. These are the individuals and organizations who are advancing policy and changing the systems that support environmental and outdoor learning.
Congratulations to our 2021 President's Award recipient, Next 100 Colorado. Next 100 Colorado is a coalition of civil rights, environmental justice, conservation, community-based organizations, and individuals in the state of Colorado. These members are leading the state towards the establishment of a just and inclusive parks and public land system that reflects the faces of our country, respects all cultures, and actively engages all people. As a coalition, they offer a community space for people of color, provide opportunities for allies and accomplices to support efforts, and provide a vehicle to launch projects that build an outdoor culture that serves and celebrates everyone.
Congratulations to our 2021 President's Award recipient, Next 100 Colorado.
I am so proud to introduce the co-chairs of the Next 100 Coalition, Andrea Kurth and Jared Bynum.
Thank you, Katie. My name is Andrea Kurth, and on behalf of my fellow Next 100 Colorado co-chairs and members from across the state, we want to thank the Colorado Alliance for Environmental Education and their board for this incredible honor. Since 2016, this coalition of Black, Indigenous, and people of color have come together to build power, influence state decision makers, and enact new policies which work toward a vision of public lands that are truly representative of the diversity of our state. In 2019, energized by the success of outdoor equity funds established in New Mexico, Washington, and California, Next 100 Colorado began to envision how a similar grant program could benefit youth and families in our state. We knew that people from around the world come to visit Colorado for the outstanding outdoor recreation opportunities that our public lands provide, yet there are vast swaths of Colorado's population who are not accessing these spaces and the life-altering experiences that they provide. So Next 100 began to work within our coalition and our network to advocate for a fund that would be a step in expanding access to Colorado's public lands for youth of color, youth from low-income households, LGBTQ youth, and youth living with disabilities.
The work of establishing this fund, oh my God, I lost my notes. The work of establishing this fund was no easy feat and required capacity and dedication from all of our coalition members from around the state and from various spaces within the environmental movement. Thanks to the hard work of our members and supporters, including CAEE, we were able to establish this first of its kind grant program in the state of Colorado, strategically targeting and facilitating public investment into some of our state's most nature deprived, disinvested, and racially diverse communities. This board overseeing the fund is structured to lean into the expertise and lived experiences of our rockstar team of initial board appointees, some of whom are in the audience and online today. The charge for this effort did not come out of a vacuum, and we know that not all of Colorado's communities have equitable access to meaningful outdoor education and recreation. In fact, the racial demographics and socioeconomic status of a community are some of the most reliable indicators for the amount of and quality of green space and outdoor activity that their youth enjoy, with Black and Latino families being the most nature deprived of any racial group, while also being some of the fastest growing demographics in our state. Studies show that children who spend time outdoors in natural environments experience improved health, cognitive function, stronger motor coordination, reduced stress, and enhanced social skills. Students who spend time outdoors, including students from low-income backgrounds, tend to perform better on standardized tests, demonstrate more enthusiasm towards school, and have fewer attendance problems. Because of the commitment of our coalition and the championing of this effort in the state legislature by Representative Leslie Herod, The Outdoor Equity Grant Program exists as a first step in creating a more equitable and inclusive outdoors for Colorado's youth and communities, and puts us on a path to better support and equip the grassroots organizations, tribal governments, schools, and others who seek to build racial and socioeconomic opportunity for Colorado's Black, Indigenous, POC, disabled, and LGBTQ youth in the spaces that make our state great. Thank you again to CAEE President Chris Obie, Executive Director Katie Navin, the board, and the awards committee for this honor.
Thank you so much, Jared and Andrea, for moving the needle to create a more equitable Colorado. Let's give Next 100 Colorado one more round of applause. Next, we would love to celebrate some of the people who are making a difference across the state, our environmental educators. First, we'd like to recognize the educators who did the hard work to become certified environmental educators in 2021.
Certified environmental educators have demonstrated the highest standard in quality environmental education. They have made a commitment to ensure and provide exceptional learning experiences. They are the people I look for in ideas and inspiration. Congratulations to our newest certified environmental educators. Felicidades a todos nuestros nuevos certificados educadores ambientales.
If you are a certified environmental educator in Colorado, certified in any year, I invite you to stand. We now have 176 certified environmental educators in Colorado. Thank you so much for your dedication to environmental education. We also want to recognize our leaders and mentors who have contributed decades of inspiring and impactful work in communities. Would all of our outstanding retiring educators please come up to accept your award from Chris while I share a little bit about your work. Our retiring educators include Larry Colbinson, a 24-year-old employee of Boulder County Parks and Open Space. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here with us today. David Ike, retiring from 30 years in public education and 25 years as the founder and advisor of the Cheyenne Creek Conservation Club. Rochelle Gittins, retiring from 19 years teaching at Queen Palmer Elementary School and Catamount Institute in Colorado Springs, and Angel Tobin, a 20-year employee of Colorado Parks and Wildlife that coordinated and managed the volunteer program and visitor services at Roxborough State Park. Congratulations for all your work in there. Thank you all. Next, we would like to recognize Colorado's incredible environmental educators, our Outstanding Environmental Educator Awards, and our Young Environmental Leader Award.
Colorado has some of the highest quality environmental educators in the nation. The Outstanding Environmental Educator Awards recognize the exceptional contributions and outstanding leadership made for environmental educators, those who are inspiring their peers and their communities with environmental education. These educators are truly inspirational and guiding our future.
These folks are inspiring their peers and their communities with the work that they do every day. And we are learning all kinds of new things from the work that they're able to do.
They bring enthusiasm and inspiration to youth, opening opportunities for our future generation to appreciate and care for the natural world.
We are so excited to recognize the 2021 Outstanding Environmental Education Award recipient.
Will our Outstanding Educators and our Young Environmental Leader Award come accept your award from Chris while I read a little bit about your work? Joey Kellner is a volunteer with Colorado Parks and Wildlife. Through 25 years of service, Joey has volunteered more than 2,500 hours of time to Colorado Parks and Wildlife. Every month, he leads a self-organized and self-led bird walk that has become a staple of Chatfield State Park's educational program. Keith Bruno, a leader in environmental education in Southwest Colorado, is actively growing environmental education programs that combine science education and outdoor discovery with a focus on inclusivity at Audubon Rockies. And our Young Environmental Leader Award recipient, Abigail Guantri. Abigail is a student at Estes Park Middle School. She is helping build resiliency and preparedness for natural disasters by organizing a school-wide contest to help families do wildfire mitigation around their homes and to prepare emergency to-go boxes in the event of a sudden evacuation or prolonged emergency. Let's give a round of applause to all of these incredible educators. Thank you so much. Next, we would like to recognize some of the incredible programs that are happening across the state.
The Outstanding Environmental Education Program Award recognizes innovation, equity, and leadership.
They showcase the wide variety of ways that we can learn about the environment and the many different approaches to make learning relevant and build lasting understanding.
These programs inspire us to provide meaningful outdoor experiences for our students, our classrooms, and our partners.
These programs are setting the bar for what environmental education can be across the state and how we can really engage our learners.
I am so inspired by the programs expanding their reach, finding new innovative ways to reach young people, and persevering through the uncertainty of the last 18 months.
Congratulations to our 2021 Outstanding Environmental Education Program Award recipients.
Will our program award recipients listed on the screen join us up front to accept your award while I read a little bit about you? Our first Innovative EE Award recipient is the Lincoln Hills Cares Growing Outdoor Leaders Program. By increasing equity in accessing environmental education and stewardship and outdoor recreation experiences, Growing Outdoor Leaders aims to develop young outdoor leaders, ambassadors, and stewards of color who give back to their communities and support the environment. Let's give them a round of applause. Our next two award recipients are joining us online. So we are proud to recognize the Dolores River Boating Advocates River School, where youth and families learn about river ecology, aquatic species, and watersheds, how local communities are tied to the Dolores River, and they get to experience whitewater rafting in a thrilling yet safe environment. Our final EE Innovative Award recipient is Guidestone Colorado's Farm to School program, also joining us virtually, which grows produce for the Salida School District to ensure students have healthy access to local food in their school meals and foster garden education and curriculum correlated to state standards through programs at 2 school gardens and the community and school farm. These programs are doing incredible work. Let's give all 3 of them a round of applause. Thank you so much. Next, we want to recognize the amazing adaptability and creativity of our environmental education programs with a special award for COVID-19 response. These 3 programs responded with adaptability, swiftness, and with the needs of their communities, most in mind. Nature's Educators, Catamount Institute, and Colorado Native Plant Society, I invite you to join Chris to accept your award while I tell a little bit about you. Nature's Educators, an organization that works with animal ambassadors to give presentations and get audiences connected to wildlife in an interactive way, rapidly switched to pre-recorded and live virtual programming and added in closed captioning and Spanish options to make sure their programs were accessible. Catamount Institute in Colorado Springs saw a need to provide educational support, social connection, and a break from online devices in their community. So they created new 2-hour grade-appropriate outdoor science lessons to support at-home learning. And finally, the Colorado Native Plant Society quickly pivoted to developing and offering half-day webinars instead of traditional in-person workshops. They saw an increase of 250% in participation and were able to reach many more people through environmental education. Thank you for all of your hard work in supporting communities when they needed it most. Let's give these 3 programs a round of applause. And finally, we would like to recognize that CAE's highest honor, the Enos Mills Lifetime Achievement Award.
The Enos Mills Lifetime Achievement Award is the highest honor presented by the Colorado Alliance for Environmental Education each year to an individual for long-term outstanding achievements in environmental education. These individuals are visionary, innovative leaders who are striving for the best in environmental education.
These are our mentors, folks who have made a lifetime impact into Colorado's environmental education. We are so grateful to all the work that you do and everything we bring to our state.
I am proud to introduce Roxanne Burkell-Reardon to introduce this award.
Thanks, Katie. Good afternoon. Each year, CAEE recognizes an individual nominated by his or her peers with a Lifetime Achievement Award. This award is named in honor of Enos A. Mills, founder of Rocky Mountain National Park. Enos spent his life discovering and experiencing nature and working steadfastly to preserve it for future generations. And because of his diligent and far-reaching efforts, Rocky Mountain National Park was created in 1915. Enos's greatest joy was sharing nature's benefits with others through his signature nature guiding experiences, as well as capturing in perpetuity his many adventures through extensive writing and outstanding photography. Today, in the tradition of Enos Mills, Howard Drossman is being honored for his demonstrated leadership and commitment to the field of environmental education through a comprehensive, diverse, and exhaustive body of work. Enos wrote in his book, Adventures of a Nature Guide, published in 1920, that before long, nature guiding and education about the environment will be a profession of honor and distinction, and may the tribe increase. And as Enos predicted, the profession has flourished and even spread around the world. Howard, your fellow former recipients here in person today, including Liz, Dave, Wendy, Patrick, Sindra, Raphael, and Kelly, as well as recipients attending virtually, including Mike, Lisa, Mark, Marcella, Jody, and Tom, are excited to welcome you as the 30th recipient of this prestigious award. Recognition for this Lifetime Achievement Award takes several forms, including Howard's name on the second perpetual plaque, as well as receiving a personalized wall plaque, including a copy of the original watercolor picture from the first perpetual plaque. The ultimate expression of recognition for this award, however, is one of Enos's 16 collectible books. This year, Wendy McVale Brigham chose the most significant book, antique book for Howard, and it is a gift from the library of Jeff Brigham, the recipient of this award in 2014, and whose book collection came from his admiration and appreciation of Enos Mills. For Howard, Wendy chose Spell of the Rockies, published in 1911. Akin to Enos falling under the spell of the Rockies, so did Howard. Along with his wife, Julie, they created the Catamount Center in 1997, preserving over 1,600 acres of open space above 10,000 feet. And in 2004, they founded the nonprofit Catamount Institute, which has become the premier environmental education center in the Pikes Peak region. Enos would be most proud of Howard's crucial role in the creation and protection of this very unique site, where children and adults can immerse themselves in the wonders of nature. As well, it serves as the backdrop for implementing Howard's innovative programs and research initiatives, such as TREE, Teaching and Research in Environmental Education Semester. Enos would be inspired by the way Howard's students describe his effects on their learning, thinking, perspectives, actions, and their careers. He is noted for his optimism for the future, contagious passion, personal empowerment, authentic mentorship, and empathetic support, creating a ripple effect of positivity and a huge wave of change. Because of Howard's leadership, many teachers and environmental educators go off to teach in Colorado and across the country, bringing high-quality environmental education into their classrooms and centers. Enos would be in awe of Howard's many accomplishments and anxious to know what the future holds for Howard's career. Congratulations, Howard.
Thank you, Roxanne. I'm truly humbled and honored to receive the Enos Mills Lifetime Achievement Award today. The award could be bestowed upon many others who are here or listening online today, and perhaps more rightly so. I'm honored to join the extraordinary group of prior award recipients. You guys are amazing. I thank CAE and Wendy McVale Brigham and her late husband, Jeff, for that exceptional treasure. I'm going to go home and start reading it tonight and cry probably. I also thank my numerous colleagues and students who provided nomination letters, some of which brought tears to my eyes. I especially thank my wife, Julie Francis. She guided me into the environmental education field more than 30 years ago and has been my partner in almost everything environmental education related. Indeed, her work as founder and leader at Catamount Institute far exceeds my contributions there. I must admit that as an educator, I'm just a bit ashamed to receive this award. As Lao Tzu might be translated in the Tao Te Ching, an educator is best when people barely know they exist. When their work is done, their aim fulfilled, their students will say, "We did it ourselves." But enough apologies. It's been a wild ride leading outdoor adventures, developing programs and institutions, and teaching environmental education related subjects
for more than 4 decades. But perhaps my most relevant work with CAE has been helping to professionalize the environmental education field by mentoring and reading more than 200 CAE portfolios for my college students and as part of the CAE review process since 2009. The rigorous master CAE portfolio expectations are based on the North American Association for Environmental Education guidelines for the professional development of environmental educators. Completed portfolios, as you saw the many recipients today, indicate environmental education mastery through demonstrating environmental literacy, understanding the foundations of environmental education, developing professionally, planning and implementing environmental education, and perhaps most challenging, assessing students and curricula and evaluating programs. These demanding portfolio requirements, especially for young pre-service future environmental educated leaders like my undergraduate students at the Colorado College and Catamount Center's teaching and researching environmental education semester, known as TREE, often take their annual toll on my students in terms of the required time and the psychic and intellectual energy necessary to meet Master CAE portfolio expectations in one rigorous semester. As such, I've often considered how the portfolio process could be more meaningful and less onerous while being equally rigorous. To conceive this approach, I borrow from Professor Parker Palmer, who wisely said, "To teach is to create a space in which the community of truth is practiced." Creating such spaces through a different portfolio process might allow my students to explore their truths in a less stressful learning community. I label this less oppressive approach, rooted in anti-racist principles, as transformational, because it might better prepare students to address the plagues of racism, classism, sexism, and other isms that continue to infect our nation and our field. This transformational approach opposes demanding a single truth or suggesting that our truths are the truth. This is consistent with the environmental education idea that we teach students how to think and not what to think. To meet this ideal, I ask us to consider a new portfolio based on critical educational philosopher Paulo Freire's problem-posing approach. This approach would include several questions related to each of 5 different truths. In essence, the portfolio would ask, what truths and whose truths? If we come to know these truths, might that help to set us free? The first truth that I think we all need to ask ourselves is, who am I? Now, I'm not going to give you answers to the other 4 truths, but I will give you my quick answers to this one. I am husband, father, brother, son, white, second generation, Jewish American, professor, learner, scientist, Tai Chi enthusiast, environmental educator, and portfolio reader, among others, such as Gaia's occasional dog walker. These truths reflect my positionality, which lead to my many biases. I ask you all, reveal your own biases, at least to yourself, frequently. Our hopeful premise at Catamount Center is that while learning who we are and who we might become, we communally seek truths relating to science, spirit, systems, and society. We believe that searching for these multiple truths helps inspire ecological stewardship. This open-minded sense of stewardship promotes service, which can help guide us to a sustainable planet when practiced authentically. So let me handle these one at a time. Let's start with the second truth of science. These are the questions I would ask my students in their portfolio. Is what you see, taste, hear, touch, and smell real? Is our sensational awareness the same for others? Why should they sense the same way I do? Can a shared reality help us communicate our sensations? And what might be overlooked by not labeling our other 50 or more senses, like time perception, and thermal sensitivity. The second truth, actually the third truth I asked you is about spirit. And the questions that I would ask my students to answer are, what is nature? What connects me to nature? What connects me to others? Who are the others? Why not others? The fourth truth relates to systems. And the questions I would ask my students include, what systems empower us? What systems encourage us to maintain power over others? How might we dismantle inequitable systems? And would we do so even if it's not in our best interest? And the last truth, the fifth truth, is one about society. First question I would ask them to answer is, can you think of a time when you were silenced? How did it feel to be silenced? Who are you currently silencing? And why are you silencing them? Might investigating these 5 truths catalyze a praxis connecting future EE leaders' practices to theories? Might addressing these 5 truths lead to a more transformational environmental education? A transformational environmental education should encourage disagreements that allow us to better understand others' positions. A transformational environmental education should not focus on promoting guilt. It should create communities of truth that build resilience and empowerment. A transformational environmental education should encourage less debate and more dialogue. A transformational environmental education should unite us rather than divide us. And a transformational environmental education should honor multiple truths that celebrate the diversity of scientific, spiritual, systemic, and societal lenses rather than adopt a single truth perspective. In summary, environmental education should be a field guided by the pursuit of truths. When we stop seeking truth or try to prevent others from seeking their truths, we not only imperil how we educate others, but we imperil our own freedom.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Howard, for all your work, both here in Colorado and nationally, and all your work that you have done through CAE and through the portfolio program. And we look forward to continue to working on it with you. Let's give Howard one more round of applause. We are so grateful that all of you could join us today, and so grateful to be able to celebrate with you. And we thank you so much for all the work that each and every one of you do today, every day, to advance environmental education. So I do want to give one more big thank you to all the folks in the room virtually who are working in environmental education every day. Let's give them a round of applause. As we close up our celebration today and celebrate all of our amazing award recipients, we invite you to join us, CAE, in supporting environmental educators across the state. We know that environmental education is a superpower. It lifts our spirits, it gives us agency to take care of the world, and is good for our health and our wellness. CAE is here to support environmental educators, and we invite you to join us in supporting them by making a donation anytime between now and Colorado Gives Day. There are envelopes around the room. We invite you to donate online. You can use the QR code, or you can visit our website anytime in the next month or two. We would love your support so that we can continue to be a charging station for EE in Colorado. There are tremendous things happening across the state, and we hope we can uplift that work a little bit. So thank you for joining us. We want to thank again all of our virtual and our in-person participants for celebrating with us here today. If you are joining us virtually, we hope you have an amazing rest of your day. If you are here with us in person, we invite you to join us for a small reception just on the other side of this wall in the back of the room here. There are treats and goodies and beverages that we can take outside. We have some space and tables set outside so that we can feel comfortable and safe taking our masks off to connect with each other, share, and meet when we haven't seen many of you in a long time. So we're looking forward to connecting with you. If you are an award recipient, we would love you to join us just outside this door here. Just kind of head out this way. We're going to take some photos and capture all the great work that you do and some photos from today. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us. Thank you for the work that you do every day. And let's one more round of applause for all of our award recipients. Have an amazing day.